Good day, class, and welcome to our English home language class. I am your teacher, Mr. Mabasa, and today we'll be concentrating on decoding. We're going to start by discussing a story that we once read together here in class. I'm pretty sure that you all remember the story called The Pumpkin Patch. Do you still remember the story that we called The Pumpkin Patch? Yeah, so we're going to discuss the story before we get into it. Who still remembers the name of the character that was in the pumpkin patch? You can discuss this with your friends or your fellow classmates. Do you still remember the character that was in pumpkin patch? Our main character. Yes, so our main character was Zack. Yes, that's how it is. And from there, I'm going to ask you like a bit of questions to see if you still remember some information about the book that we read so that we can go on. Um, do you still remember? Do you remember where they went on the trip? This is pretty obvious. I'm pretty sure that you can get it simply. So, on the trip, they went to the pumpkin patch, as the heading says. Yes. So, from there, we're going to go to another question. Do you remember the pumpkin that he picked first? What was the size of the pumpkin that he picked first? Was it the big pumpkin or the small pumpkin? Yes. So we all know that it was a small pumpkin. Yes. From there, this is the last question, and then from there we're going to read our storybook to just recap a bit. Do you remember which pumpkin he ended up taking home, taking back to his class? Zack ended up taking the smaller pumpkin because the bigger one couldn't fit in the bus that they used to travel to the pumpkin patch. So now we're going to read our book, which is called The Pumpkin Patch. It's okay. I'm going to read it for you, and you will listen and pick out like a few words, and I'll ask you questions about the words after. The Pumpkin Patch. Zack went on a trip with his class. The first sentence says, Zack went on a trip with his class. He got on a yellow bus. So he didn't just get on a bus, he got on a yellow bus. The bus was colored yellow. The bus was yellow. It was a school bus. It took them to the pumpkin patch. The yellow bus took them to the pumpkin patch. That is where they were going on a trip. They were going to the pumpkin patch. When he got off the bus, he got to pick out a pumpkin. When Zack got off the bus, he had options to pick up a pumpkin. He had to choose a pumpkin from where they were planted. He had to choose a pumpkin. So Zack looked and looked. He looked and looked. Zack searched for the perfect pumpkin that would catch his eye. He picked one, but it was too big. Zack finally found a pumpkin that he liked and he picked it. But the problem is that the pumpkin that he picked was too big. He got back on the bus. Zack had to pick a little one. Zack had to choose another pumpkin because the one that he had chosen was too big and he had to choose a smaller one. So he had to pick us a little one. He got back on the bus and went back to his class. Zack went back on the bus with his smaller pumpkin and went back to his class. He wished he had a big pumpkin. Since Zack could only get the smaller pumpkin, Zack wished that he could get a bigger pumpkin, which he didn't get. He did find a big pumpkin, but then he couldn't fit it back in the bus, so he had to find a smaller pumpkin and take whatever he got. So he took the smaller pumpkin, yes, and went back with it to his class. So he took the smaller pumpkin and went back to the bus and back to his class. That's how it went. Yes. So now we're done with our storybook, and we're going to continue with a bit of discussions. So now that we have read our book, are you willing to like change some of the answers that you have made regarding the questions that I asked you? You can discuss what we have read with your member there, with your fellow classmates. I'll give you some time to discuss, and from there we'll go on to our next chapter. We will be engaging with the content of the day. So you can discuss it with your friend, your partner, or your partners. And from there, we'll take it and move on to the next stage.